Regular meeting number 3 will now come to order. May we have the playing of the national anthem. Councilmember Wyche, would you come off mute and lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilmember. This evening, we were going to have Imam Horsid Noah from Abakar As-Sadiq Islamic Center join us, and he is on now. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Imam. Imam, thank you so much for being with us this evening.
Thank you. Let's pray. We gather today with gratitude for the opportunity to serve this community. Oh God, the source of our wisdom, justice, and mercy, we ask you to guide the leaders before us. Grant them clarity in decision making, fairness in judgment, and compassion in leadership. Help them protect the dignity and the rights of every resident, especially those who feel unheard or vulnerable. Dear Lord, bless this city in all its diversity and strengthen the bonds that unite us as neighbors and partners in the common good. May our actions be guided by conscience, our words by respect, and our work by sincere desire to serve. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Imam. Clerk, please call the roll.
Bankston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorns, Green, Remy, Ross, Wyche, President Harden. Any person who takes any action to obstruct or interfere with the conduct of tonight's meeting may be charged with disturbing a lawful meeting pursuant to Columbus City Code 2317.12. Any person who enters those areas of city council chambers reserved for city officials or invited guests may be charged with criminal trespass pursuant to Columbus City Code 2311.21.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Can I get a motion to dismiss the reading of the journal?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bankston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorns, Green, Remy, Ross, Wyche, President Harden.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Are there any additions or corrections to the journal? Hearing none, the journal is approved. This week's communications received by the City Clerk's office are listed on the agenda and will be published in the City Bulletin. Are there any other communications to be read into the record?
Not at this time.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Before we go around the dais, I want to take a moment to recognize and thank our snow warriors and our frontline public service staff. They've been working long hours, overtime, to keep our roads clear and our communities safe. And I'm sure our chair of public service, who has been keeping the council members abreast of the situation over the last 48 hours, will have more to say. But we're just grateful as a community for all those who have been stepping up, not just our staff, but also doctors and nurses, pharmacists and grocery store workers, and the list truly goes on. We know right now from our city and county departments that we are now under a level 2 emergency, and many schools and offices remain closed, but our partners are stepping up. CODA remains free through tomorrow. Warming centers have been set up throughout the city, and shelter beds are open. So just thank you all, and thank the residents. I want to thank you for adhering and staying home yesterday, even driving down to City Hall today for this virtual meeting. Our snow warriors have done an amazing job, and I think that's because you were off the streets and gave them the space to do their work. So thank you so much, and it accounts for our virtual meeting tonight. With that, I'm going to go around the dais, the virtual dais, starting with Councilmember Bankston.
Thank you, Council President. Just a couple of announcements this evening. As of today, Council has 3 remaining hearings to hear presentations and deliberate on the city's 2026 operating budget. The remaining hearing dates, themes, and Council office leads for each hearing are as follows. The Public Safety and Criminal Justice Budget hearing, chaired by Councilmember Remy, will take place tomorrow at 3 p.m. Please note that this hearing has moved to be fully virtual. The Public Utilities and Sustainability Budget hearing, chaired by Councilmember Wyche, will take place on Wednesday, January 28th at 3:30 p.m. And last but not least, the Neighborhoods, Recreation, and Parks Budget hearing, chaired by Councilmember Deakauer, will take place on Thursday, January 29th at 1 p.m. Due to the ongoing snow emergency, the respective chairpersons for each hearing will decide on whether virtual accommodations will be made for their hearings. And I'm sure as we go around the dais tonight, my colleagues can probably comment further on their particular hearings. For more details on each of the hearings, again, please reach out to the appropriate chairpersons as we just mentioned. Also, looking ahead into February, want to announce another hearing on Thursday, February 19th at 4 p.m. I will be chairing the 3rd hearing to discuss the proposed creation of a rental registry. The hearing will share updates to the framework of the proposal along with draft language for the ordinance. All persons wishing to speak during the hearing in person must fill out the speaker request form by Wednesday, February 18th at 5 p.m. The form can be accessed via my and also Council's social media pages, Council's webpage, or by contacting Jonathan Brown in my office at jbbrown@columbus.gov. Written testimony must be emailed to Jonathan Brown at jbbrown@columbus.gov with the subject February 19th hearing testimony with your name and address by 5 p.m. on February 18th. A document highlighting the changes between the last version and the newest version will be live on the council webpage by next Friday, February 6th. So please be on the lookout for that. Again, the meeting will be live streamed on the city's YouTube channel and also the Facebook pages, and each speaker will be limited to remarks lasting no longer than 3 minutes. Again, want to just thank all those that have engaged thus far with the rental registry. We really are taking our time to make sure we get this right, and appreciate all the stakeholders that have stepped up to this point to provide feedback, both in person and online. So we look forward to that 3rd hearing on the 19th as we continue to move forward with the creation of a rental registry for the city of Columbus. With that, Council President, that's all I have this evening for announcements.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Rosa de Padilla.
Thank you, Council President. And I want to echo your sentiments of how you started our meeting. First and foremost, I said this on Saturday at a press conference that we had. I am so incredibly proud of our community. I think this is when we show up the best in Columbus. We have been showing up for our residents in so many different ways, and this snowstorm was no exception. We've had stories of how even some of our council members, I'm looking at you, Pro Tem Rob Dorrance, who is outside clearing his streets and sidewalks for his neighbors, but thinking about how we are all reaching out to each other. Over the last 48 hours, we've had a historic snowstorm. We haven't seen anything like this really in the past 20 years, I believe. We've got between 10 to 14 inches, depending on where you were. We hit a level 3 emergency, which was lifted earlier today. At the height of the storm on Saturday, we had 113 trucks that were out. This is what we call a full call out. So that included all of our entire fleet. We even pulled not just our auxiliary drivers, our contractors, but we also had the Department of Rec and Parks, who was also helping us during this storm as well. I want to just pause for a second, and I want to give the floor over to our Deputy Director of the Department of Public Service, James Young, to give us just an update on where we are currently. And also, unfortunately, y'all, it does not look good for the rest of the week. I'm here to deliver that unfortunate news. Unfortunate for us, maybe good for our kiddos. But Director Young, I'd like to give you the floor.
Thank you, Council Chair. Thank you, Council President, Council. Right now, we are servicing our P1s, P2s, and P3s. So we're about 98% serviced on our Priority 1 streets. These are our arterials. And we're still going out. We have a lot of them actually running clear. If you're out on a lot of the major arteries today, Morse Road, Hamilton Road, Gender Road, they're all starting to look clear. Some of our collector streets are at 92%. So this is as of 4 o'clock today. So we're still out there. We're doing touch-ups. Priority 3 streets were at about 20%. And these are the streets we're trying to get into. This is half of our mileage in the city. So we're about 24% on those. I'd like to extend thanks again to Building and Zoning for supplying us drivers, Rec and Parks for drivers and trucks. And I'd also like to point out that we have a lot of other divisions in our department that are participating in the event. So we have the refuse drivers that are out, and they're actually plowing some alleys tonight to go make sure they can actually pick up for their service, because we didn't change our collection. They made about 36,000 collection stops today. They didn't get some households, which is going to be first on their list tomorrow. Normally we have about 15 to 20% of the containers not set out on a given day. Today it was about 34% by stats. So we're going to go out and pick those up. We've been talking with 311. As the council member said, it's going to get cold tonight. So we're trying to go out and get as much into the residentials as we can. We have about 100 trucks in service as of 4 o'clock today. So with shift change coming at 7, I know that number is going to update. But we're moving pretty quick. The contractors are helping us out. We actually had a call from Franklin County. They're coming to help us out, because in the downtown, this is one of the, I say, first time in about 20 years, we're going to have to haul snow out of the downtown. So if you're down there, you're going to see a lot of snow in the turn lanes or on the side of the street. And we're trying to get that picked up. It's going to be a long process. The cold weather is not going to be helpful. We were thankful today to get some sunshine. And bear with us, pack your patience. It's going to take time to get around the city, especially through the residential areas. And once you get on the arterials, you should have a little better drive. But I would recommend that you remind residents to plan extra time in their commute so they can get to where they need to go and get there safely. So thank you.
And Director, I just have 2 quick questions. One, you mentioned about refuse. I know we're going to be a little bit behind for either folks who, for whatever reason, they might be missed, or because we're behind and things shift or they couldn't get outside. Do you recommend for folks to put in a 311 request? Will we just go back around those streets? What would you recommend for residents?
I would recommend, if they're able to get their cans out and they have their area cleared, to do that and then call 311. If they did not, we will come pick them up the next week. We get mixed results with that after talking with a refuse administrator. So they can call 311 if they have a lot. Just clean out the area and we'll try and pick it up.
And the alleys, just to be clear, we don't usually plow the alleys, but alleys that might need to be serviced, because that's where folks take out their trash. Those are the alleys that you reference when you talk about clearing those out, correct?
That is correct.
So I wanted to give maybe some not so good news to some folks who I know don't have street parking and might have parked in alleys. I know we have some of our staff who is asking that same question. So again, I just want to first, do my colleagues have any questions for the department? Any additional questions I might have missed? Well, thank you for that update. I want to echo what Council President said. I think our snow warriors have done, really God's work, working around the clock, making sure that we're out there. Again, you said pack your patience, and that is, I know, going to be difficult for some folks, but especially as folks might head back out to work now that it's a level 2. On Saturday, both the mayor, myself, and I know we already have leaders in the community that have been providing people work from home options, if that is an option for folks to stay safe, especially since school has been called off for tomorrow. So as we continue to look at those cold temps, that flexibility for our community, council helped to practice what we're asking folks to do by making this meeting virtual and helping folks to stay safe during this time. Council President also mentioned this, but CODA is always free during a level 2 emergency. CODA will also always run during a level 3 emergency because that's the way that we can get essential workers to work in a safe way so that they don't have to drive, especially when we're asking other folks not to be on the roads. I want to also give folks 2 other quick resources. First is the Community Shelter Board's hotline, 614-274-7000. During this time, I had a friend whose heater went out. This is the most unfortunate time. You never know what's going to happen. If folks are facing an emergency, or if you know people who are facing that emergency, you can call that hotline. They will actually have an outreach team that will come out and pick folks up if they need to be picked up. They're also offering rides to shelters and to places, to warming centers. So please, please, please use that hotline. The Franklin County Dog Shelter is also sheltering dogs. If you find yourself in a place where you have to seek shelter and you cannot take your pets, they will take your pets in. So you can reach out to the Franklin County Dog Shelter. As always, you can check out Warrior Watch online and you can see when your street has been plowed. Please remember, we do not plow to the ground, especially when there's this much of a weather event. We will make it safe enough so that we can pack the snow and you can drive over the snow. And hopefully with cars moving and when Mother Nature decides to cooperate, you will see a little bit more of that gravel that you'll feel probably a little safer riding on. But lastly, just remember to please, please, please check on your neighbors. Our sidewalks are our responsibility as residents. So please clear those off to make sure that people can safely move about the street, especially if you have those. I know what is a very coveted snow blower during this season. If you could snow blow a little bit more down the street to make sure that it's safe for everyone, that would be great. But also just check on folks who might have mobility issues, your neighbors, if you can get prescriptions filled for them or groceries or whatever they may need, all the things that you are already great at. So thank you so much, Council President. That's all for me this evening. Stay safe and stay warm, everybody.
Thank you to our fearless leader, public service, and that was a lot of good information. And again, we just echo our appreciation to the Public Service Department. Very proud of their work over the last 48 hours. Thank you. Councilmember Deakauer.
Thank you, Council President. First, for our budget hearing on Thursday for Neighborhoods, Recreation, and Parks at 1 p.m. Currently, we are planning on doing that in City Hall chambers, but if the road conditions still continue to be a problem, we'll call it on Wednesday if we decide to change to virtual. So everybody keep track of the City Council social medias, and that's where it would be announced. Secondly, I'd like to remind folks that application for the city's Summer Youth Program grant are now open. City of Columbus is committed to serving vulnerable, at-risk, and underserved youth, particularly those disproportionately impacted by crime, violence, and related challenges. And to support this commitment, the Summer Youth Program grant provides funding to nonprofit organizations that deliver summer programming to youth ages 5 to 18 who live within the city's corporate boundaries. Eligible organizations must offer programming during the summer months and demonstrate outcomes that support youth development, including improved academic performance, improved health and well-being, and/or enhanced career readiness and workplace skills. Funding priority is given to summer programs that take place in or serve youth who live in the city's opportunity neighborhoods, including the Hilltop, Linden, Franklinton, Southside, Near East, Southeast, Northeast, Northland neighborhoods, as well as the Far East Side and the Far West Side. For more information and to submit your application, you can visit columbusrecparks.com/Summer Youth Program Grant. Any questions about the application can be emailed to summeryouth@columbus.gov, and the application deadline is Friday, February 13th. I also want to take a moment to congratulate Assistant City Forester Chad Hoff for being recognized by the Friends of Schiller Park recently with the Village Light Award in recognition of his outstanding stewardship of Schiller Park. As the group says, his expertise, careful judgment, and deep respect for the park's trees have made him a trusted and valued partner in its ongoing care. Chad's ability to recall individual trees, their stories, vulnerabilities, and long-term needs is both remarkable and touching. So on behalf of this council, I would like to send a heartfelt thank you to Chad for continuously providing residents with a positive experience in the realm of urban forestry. And finally, a quick shout out to all of our Columbus residents who have stepped up to help their neighbors in this extreme weather. Some of them are shoveling driveways, others are checking on the well-being of their neighbors. If you haven't already done so, please consider reaching out and seeing how you can help your neighbors, especially our neighbors who are older adults who have special needs. So that's all for me, Council President, and everyone, please stay safe.
Thank you so much, Councilmember. Pres Pro Tem.
Thank you, Council President. Had a couple resolutions planned for this evening, but we're going to go ahead and postpone both of those, just given that we're meeting virtually here tonight to allow those resolutions to proceed at council chambers as normal. So first, the first resolution was to recognize and celebrate the 25th anniversary of Columbus Underground. So I'm moving to postpone that resolution to February 9th.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorns, Green, Remy, Ross, Wyche, President Harden.
Postponed.
Thank you. And the second is to recognize and honor and celebrate Dwayne Casares on his retirement from Directions for Youth and Family after 33 years of service and leadership to that organization. So again, I move to postpone that resolution to February 9th.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorns, Green, Remy, Ross, Wyche, President Harden.
Postponed.
Thank you. That's all I have at this time.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Ross.
Thank you, Council President. I just had one resolution that I am also going to move to postpone to the February 9th meeting. It is to recognize and honor and celebrate Judge James Edward Green on his retirement from the Franklin County Municipal Court. Due to inclement weather, we are going to move, or I would motion to move, postpone this resolution so that it can be given in person at the February 9th meeting.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorns, Green, Remy, Ross, Wyche, President Harden.
Postpone. Is that all, Councilmember? Yes. And I apologize, I went out of order.
That's all, Council President. No worries. No worries. You threw me, but it's okay.
Thank you. Councilmember Green. Is that nothing for Councilmember Green?
I think we can hear her. She does have something, but.
Can you hear me?
Now we can.
Oh, we lost you again, Councilmember.
Now we can.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can hear
Awesome.
you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for bearing with me here. WebEx is not always my great friend, but tonight I do have one resolution on The agenda this evening, it is Resolution 0164X-2025 to recognize cardiovascular disease as the world's leading cause of death and to support the recognition of Friday, February 6, 2026 as National Wear Red Day and as February as American Heart Month. We talk about this every year around this time of year. Cardiovascular disease, it remains the world's leading cause of death and claims the lives of 1 in 3 women every single year, with many, many different types of disparities interwoven in there as well. Which is why it is so important for us every year to recognize February as American Heart Month and Friday, February 6, 2026 as National Wear Red Day here in Columbus. I'm grateful to my colleagues tonight for joining us in wearing red to raise awareness about American Heart Month. Congratulating myself on remembering to remind everyone this year to wear red. But the American Heart Association's Go Red for Women movement, they've been working for so many years, since 2004, to close awareness and clinical gaps in care by empowering women through education, through prevention strategies, and making sure that research-backed information is making it out into our communities. So before I turn it over to the floor to our partners, we just want to encourage residents, businesses, and community institutions to join us in wearing red on February 6th and spread awareness and support in the fight against heart disease and stroke in women. And so now I'd like to invite our partners and our friends from the American Heart Association, Sarah Lewis and Max Dillon, to our virtual podium to speak here tonight.
Thank you. Can you hear me all right? Perfect. Well, my name is Sarah Lewis, and I want to thank you all on behalf of the American Heart Association. Of course, thank you, Councilmember Green, President Hardin, and all of our members of the council for recognizing Friday, February 6th, 2026 as National Wear Red Day in the city of Columbus. Also want to echo how great you all look in your red today. So thank you so much for wearing. And I know we all have red dress pins down there for you to support throughout the month of February as well. I won't repeat many of the wonderful things that Councilmember Green shared, but cardiovascular disease does continue to be the #1 killer of women, claiming more women's lives than all forms of cancer combined. And despite that statistic, we continue to be unaware of the fact that it is our #1 killer and unaware of the signs and symptoms that it can present in women. And so I encourage you all to just share those signs and symptoms with your loved ones, and to always be a listening ear when a woman in your life tells you that they don't feel well or that something is wrong. We continue to be under-researched and underrepresented in the clinical setting, but we are here for each other, and that is our greatest gift. We have the support of each other as women to connect, to share information, support, motivation, and of course, inspiration. So through efforts like Go Red for Women, we're closing those gaps and making sure that more women can live longer, healthier lives. So with that, it's my honor to turn it over to our survivor representing us today, Miss Max Dixon.
Hello, thank you so much. Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to be here today. I'm Max. I'm the board president of the Columbus Fashion Council. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a wife, and a mother. And Women's Heart Health Month is deeply personal for me. On January 1st of 2024, I woke up with what I thought was anxiety, a racing heart, and I assumed it would pass. And like many women, I pushed through. I had a family to care for, I had work to do, and I did not have time to slow down. But my body kept sending signals that something was wrong. And within days, those signals turned into blackout episodes and an emergency hospitalization. And thanks to one doctor who paused and asked for more testing before they did the emergency ablations, we learned that I had a rare heart condition called left ventricular non-compaction cardiomyopathy. And by the time I received the correct diagnosis and the care, I was not yet 40 years old and already in congestive heart failure. Advocating for myself and getting a second opinion then changed everything. Thank you to Dr. Randall Starlings of the Cleveland Clinic. With proper treatment, and by 2025, I am no longer in congestive heart failure. And with genetic testing, I'm also able to give my family clarity and protection, allowing my children to be tested early and monitored appropriately. I share this because heart disease doesn't always look like the way we expect in women. Our symptoms are often dismissed, minimized, or ignored, even by ourselves. Women's Heart Health Month is a reminder to listen to your body, ask the questions, and never be afraid to advocate for yourself, for your health, because it'll save your life. Thank you so much for having me to share my story this evening.
Thank you both again so much for being here. Max, we are so glad that you're especially able to be here to share your testimony. You know, it is so important, I think, to note that, you know, in men, we often think about, you know, really intense crushing chest pain. That's just not what women experience, right? And I feel you're busy, you've got, you know, a job or two jobs, kids to take care of, you know, you often move quickly past things just because there isn't time. But I am telling you, it is so important just to take those couple of minutes. And I think that your story is so important for people to hear. And so we're just so grateful. Sarah, where can somebody, if someone is, you know, wants to just get like a checkup or you know, starts realizing, man, my heart's been feeling kind of racy, or I've been short of breath lately and really tired, you know, what could they talk to their regular doctor? Or is there a place where they should go here in Columbus?
Yeah, I'd absolutely, not a medical professional, I will preface that, but absolutely encourage you to speak with your primary care physician. And, you know, if that isn't getting you the answer that you're looking for, to reach out to your network, whatever that is, if that's a family member, a colleague, a friend, a neighbor, and just see how you can seek help next.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you so much again for being here. Are there any other comments or questions from my colleagues?
Yeah, Councilmember, I just wanted to also echo Max and I have known each other. Thank you for sharing your story. In February, it'll be the 1-year anniversary that my mother passed away from what we knew after she passed was a heart attack, but at the time they were treating her for something else. And what's interesting is at the time, in the clinic where they were seeing her, and this wasn't here, it was in Cuba, but it's where renowned medicine. After my mother passed, we told another doctor her symptoms, and they knew immediately, it was a female doctor, knew immediately that it was a heart attack that took her life. And so that story, could be a story here in Ohio, in a rural place, in urban Ohio, anywhere. It could have been any of our stories. And so I think women really understanding women's health, women continue to have to advocate for themselves, to advocate to be heard, especially women of color, especially if you're younger, because heart issues don't always present in younger women. We know that can be true. So to the urgence that, or to the helping women understand what is happening. There's I can't remember what the acronym is, but there's things that you can look at that if you're starting to have those symptoms, you can then advocate for yourself, seek that medical treatment. Don't ignore it, because it could be the thing that, quite frankly, saves your life. And so I think all of us know and love a woman in our lives. So for the women that you love and for yourself and for the families that you care for, this next month is just critical for women understanding this is just another thing, unfortunately, on top of a long list of things that we have to worry about. Another way for us to advocate and take care of ourselves and people that we love and care for. So thank you for sharing your story. And Councilmember Green, thank you for yet again bringing this to our attention. I know we make it cute because it's a women thing and we wear red and do all those things, but there is again, so many women that are affected by this on a day-to-day basis, and it really is the difference between life or death. So thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, well, seeing no other comments or questions from my colleagues, I move for adoption.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll on Resolution 19X-2026.
Thank you. Bankston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorns, Green, Remy, Ross, Wyche, President Harden.
Adopted.
Thank you so much. That is all for me tonight.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Remy.
Thank you, Council President. Good evening, everyone. Having some COVID flashbacks here. I'd like to remind everybody, as Chair Bankston said earlier, that tomorrow we'll be having a Public Safety and Criminal Justice Committee budget hearing, and that will take place virtually. That is the 27th at 3 p.m. It can be viewed at the city's YouTube channel. And if you'd like to submit any written testimony, please contact my aide, Pedro Mejia, at pdmejia@columbus.gov. That's pdmejia@columbus.gov. Thank you very much, and that's all I have this evening. Stay safe and stay warm.
Thank you, Councilmember. Finally, Councilmember Wyche.
Thank you, Council President. One quick announcement and one resolution this evening. First, as Councilmember Bankston mentioned, I'll be hosting the Public Utilities and Sustainability Committee operating budget hearing on Wednesday, January 28th. We'll hear presentations from Columbus Water and Power, the Department of Public Service Division of Refuse, and Sustainable Columbus. If you're interested in providing testimony, please email my legislative analyst, Emiliana, at emmorales@columbus.gov by noon tomorrow. We are still watching the weather, so there is the potential for us to switch to a virtual meeting. So just please keep an eye out on social media for any updates. Next, I would like to introduce Resolution 0018X-2026 to encourage the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio to take measures to protect Ohio residents, including residents of Columbus, from rising electricity bills. In recent years, Columbus residents have seen an increase in both energy distribution and generation rates. Due to capacity constraints in the wholesale electricity market, energy costs will continue to inflate. It is clear that we are facing not only a rising cost of living crisis, but also an urgent energy affordability crisis that will have serious impacts on Ohio residents. Despite this, AEP has requested that the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio approve yet another rate increase. This comes after the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio has already approved or is in the process of reviewing multiple rate increase requests over the past 3 years. While AEP Ohio claims that ratepayers will be saving approximately $1.22 a month, Ohio Consumers Counsel estimates that consumers will be paying an additional $30.51 per month under the current proposed rate increase. Right now, Columbus residents and families are relying on AEP to stay safe and warm during this extreme winter weather emergency. Ensuring that consumers are protected from unfair rate hikes should be a priority for everyone. This council urges the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio to protect Columbus residents, as well as AEP Ohio's over 1.5 million customers, and implement no rate increases in 2026 for AEP Ohio. Now, we have two speakers signed up. We have two invited speakers want to invite up to speak. First, from the Ohio Environmental Action Fund, Annalisa, are you on the line?
I am. Thank you so much. Council President Hardin and members of Columbus City Council, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Annalisa Rocca, and I serve as the Central Ohio Regional Director at the Ohio Environmental Council Action Fund, which works towards a clean, healthy Ohio where our democracy empowers our communities to thrive in harmony with the environment. I'm here today speaking in support of the resolution to encourage the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio to take measures to protect Columbus residents from rising electricity bills. Columbus residents have already seen significant increases in both distribution and generation rates over the past few years, and costs are expected to continue rising due to capacity constraints in the PJM marketplace. For many households, these costs are becoming unaffordable. While the PUCO can't control costs due to supply constraints across the country, they do control the rates we pay to maintain and build our infrastructure. Council's concern is compounded by the fact that the PUCO has recently approved multiple AEP Ohio rate increases and is currently reviewing an additional request as part of a rate case. The OEC and the Ohio Consumers Counsel have raised concerns that even with a proposed settlement in the most recent AEP case, residential customers could see increases to their monthly bills once additional riders are added. The proposed settlement includes a credit already due to customers that is being used to incorrectly claim a rate decrease. That reality makes it especially important to pause further increases in 2026 or at least delay additional costs until 2027. At the same time, residents are being asked to pay more for an energy system that still has continued to face reliability concerns. Rate increases have not eliminated outages or eased concerns from community members. It is unfair to ask people to pay more for energy that remains unreliable. This resolution also raises an important focus on the growing impact of data centers and other large load developments. While we appreciate the efforts of the PUCO and AEP Ohio to implement new data center tariff policies, Council is right to urge a study on how these projects may affect residential rates, so everyday customers are not left subsidizing massive new energy users. Finally, extending disconnection protections, expanding summer assistance programs, and maintaining special reconnect orders are critical steps, especially during the hottest months when energy costs are highest and families are just trying to keep their homes safe. I urge Council to support this resolution and stand up for affordability, reliability, and fairness for Columbus residents. Thank you.
Annalisa, thank you for being here and thank you for your continued advocacy. Next, I'm going to turn the virtual floor over to Kwesi Lowe, the co-founder, deputy director of Columbus Stand Up. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. Kwesi?
Yes, thank you for having me. My name is Kwesi Lowe. I want to say good evening, President, members of Council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I want to begin by acknowledging this resolution and the leadership it represents. Council's decision to formally urge the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio to protect residents from rising electricity bills matters. It matters because it recognizes what people across Ohio already know. Energy costs are rising faster than household incomes, and those increases are not abstract. They show up as shutoff notices and impossible bottom line choices. They exacerbate the dilemma of growing instability for Ohio families who are already struggling the most. This resolution sets an important precedent. It clearly states that continued rate increases are unacceptable in the middle of an energy affordability crisis. It calls for no new increases in 2026 and urges that any future costs be pushed to 2027 at the earliest. It calls for stronger disconnection protection in winter months and cooling assistance in summer months, as well as a serious examination of how data centers and large load developments are impacting residential ratepayers. These are real concerns of Ohio residents who are unsure if they will be able to meet their daily needs and provide for the people who are depending on them. I want to take a moment to acknowledge Councilmember Chris Wyche for bringing this resolution forward. This is a meaningful step. I would describe it as a moratorium in spirit, a pause that says the status quo cannot continue. At the same time, a moratorium only works if it is followed by consistent and increasingly bold demands for accountability. That accountability must be directly squared at both the PUCO and AEP Ohio. Through the Lights Out on AEP campaign, we have been organizing residents across Columbus and Central Ohio to speak for themselves. We have collected over 2,500 signatures opposing AEP's proposed rate increase. We have encouraged and supported dozens of residents to testify directly to the PUCO, many for the first time in their lives. These are not professional advocates. These are working people, parents, seniors, renters, and homeowners who are already stretched thin and cannot absorb another increase, no matter how it's packaged. What we are seeing from AEP is not an isolated request. It is an ongoing pattern. Repeated riders, incremental changes, attempts to recover costs the legislature explicitly removed. Effort to reduce compensation to residents who generate power through solar. All of this adds up to an extraction model that prioritizes shareholder returns while shifting risk and costs onto Ohio consumers. At some point, we have to be honest about what this is. AEP operates as an exploitive monopoly, and without firm intervention, it will continue to extract resources from households, schools, and public institutions across the state. We have already seen elected officials begin to connect the dots. Members of Columbus City School Board submitted testimony explaining how these rate increases function as hidden costs to public education. Higher electricity bills for schools means fewer dollars for classrooms and student services. That is not theoretical. It is an unfolding reality. This resolution continues that line of leadership and should be understood as part of a growing public record of resistance. I also want to be clear about one thing. Council cannot stand with both AEP and Columbus residents when their interests are in direct conflict. Neutral language and balanced statements are not enough in the face of an affordability crisis. If protecting the quality of life and promoting long-term stability in the city is the priority, then council must continue to choose the residents explicitly and repeatedly. So I thank you, Councilmember Wyche, and your team for taking this step. I encourage the rest of council to echo these sentiments publicly and often, and I urge you to view this not as a one-time resolution, but a long-term commitment to holding the PUCO and AEP accountable on behalf of the people you represent. Thank you again for the invitation to speak. I appreciate your time and attention. I wish everyone a good evening.
Kwesi, thank you for being here, for your advocacy, and for working to mobilize a grassroots effort. I think the more people know about these issues, the more we can educate ourselves and more questions that we can ask, and hopefully get a resolution that's for the benefit of the residents of Columbus. So I appreciate you being here and for the work that you all are doing. Before I move for adoption, I'd like to see if any of my colleagues have questions or comments.
Councilmember, I will jump in. One, thank you for your leadership on this resolution. I also echo your appreciation and support for Kwesi and the work that they have done. What he is talking about is what we are all hearing when we're standing in line at grocery stores or just out amongst our family and friends, that folks are being strained and pushed, and that costs are going up in many different places. And one of those places that is hitting them extremely hard is their utility bills. And so this is not an abstract conversation. It's not spreadsheets. This is how people are actually making very tough decisions between, medication or electricity or groceries or heat. And so I think council is speaking loudly and clearly this evening and encouraging the PUCO to use its authority to speak out and protect our residents. And so I am, again, appreciative of your leadership on this effort, and would just continue to encourage community members to continue to speak up as council is adding our voices as well. So just thank you for your leadership.
Thank you, Council President. And I know it's an issue that we hear from residents all the time, affordability, not just in housing, but in utility rates at the same time. So it is our job as representatives of people in districts across the city of Columbus to make our voices be heard for our residents so that they know that we're fighting for them at the same time too.
Councilmember, I also just wanted to add, and thank Kwesi for his work and the work of Stand Up Columbus, because I do think, we're seeing this across the country. I think folks can come and advocate to us, right? But I think especially when it comes to utilities, there's not always a voice. It's like you're yelling into the void. At least it feels like that, right? And so I think giving folks a way that giving them the opportunity to make their voices heard, giving them a path for them to advocate. I say this often, it is only but for the people, right? And so, yes, the 9 voices on this council matter, but the million voices in Columbus matter even more. And so I just want to say thank you for that work. And Councilmember, also thank you for making things that, and I say this with love, and maybe I'm the only one that feels like it's complex. Like I feel like, if you gave me a test on my utility bill, I am not passing it. So I think that when we take these things that sometimes we take it for granted, we don't know what it means. Again, we don't know how to advocate. We don't know what buttons to push. So thank you for continuing to keep these issues at the top of certainly at the forefront for all of us, both as residents and leaders in this community, but also ensuring that the folks who we represent understand what the issues are and the best way for them to advocate. So echoing both your sentiments, the sentiments of Council President, and then a thank you for both Annalisa and Kwesi.
Again, Councilmember Wyche, I also just want to echo Lord S.'s statements and thank you for your work on this. And also thank you to our partners across the community for your advocacy. There is such a big difference between, raising a publicly funded utility cost for necessary upgrades and remediation and increasing costs on everyday families so that you can continue to pass on millions or billions of dollars in profit to your shareholders. Those two things are very different things. And we find ourselves at a moment where we know broadly across the country the threat that data centers are posing on our utilities, on our electric grid, on our water. So taking some time to collect that data and information, but we also are seeing across the country ways in which some of these facilities are helping lower energy costs, are helping to adopt green practices and could ultimately be a benefit in doing both of those things if we were to look at and explore those options. And so I just want to thank you for taking a measured approach to this and figuring out how we can better understand and unpack these issues and deliver hopefully some policy down the road that is going to both, protect the economic security of our families here in Central Ohio, while also, protecting our environment here and the earth around us. And so thank you.
I appreciate that, Councilmember Green, and your point around data centers and how they're built is real, right? We could require them in this state to be built more sustainably. We just not had leadership at the state level to do that, and that is the problem that is creating all of these unintended consequences of rising costs for everyday residents who are just having to fit the bill for that infrastructure and those built outs. Seeing no other comments or questions, I now move for adoption.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorns, Green, Remy, Ross, Wyche, President Harden.
Adopted.
Thank you, Council President. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilmember. Are there any comments by the other elected officials that are joining us? The City Attorney's Office, the City Auditor's Office? Anyone else? Well, at this time, I request the following ordinance to be removed from the consent action portion of the agenda. In the Finance and Governance Committee, ordinance 0234-2026. Are there any other requests by members of council for removal of an ordinance or resolution from the consent portion of the agenda? Hearing none, may we now have a motion to waive the readings of title of the third legislation on tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorns, Green, Remy, Ross, Wyche, President Harden.
Thank you. Will the clerk now read into the record the ordinance numbers of 30-day legislation on tonight's agenda as first reading?
In Finance and Governance Committee, we have ordinance 2990, 129, and 163-2026. Public Service and Transportation Committee, ordinances 3502-2025, 54 and 89-2026. In Neighborhoods, Recreation, and Parks Committee, we have ordinance 3335 and 3336-2025. Health, Human Services, and Equity Committee, ordinance 102-2026. Public Safety and Criminal Justice Committee, ordinance 19-2026 and 3412-2025. Housing, Homelessness, and Building Committee, ordinance 74, 81, 82, 83, 109, 110, 115, 116, 157, 224, and 245-2026. Public Utilities and Sustainability Committee, ordinance 3418, 3441, 3450, 3458-2025, ordinance 1, 6, 32, 33, 35, 38, 39, 44, 47, 51, 57, 58, 59, 91, 100, 117, and 130-2026. Rules and Policy Committee, we have ordinance 12-2026 and ordinance 237-2026.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Seeing no speakers on the first reading portion of the agenda, will the following ordinance appear on our agenda as consent action? Will the clerk now read those into the record?
Resolutions of expression, Resolution 8X, 24X, 9X, and 11X-2026. Finance and Governance Committee, ordinance 3258, 3496, 3503-2025, ordinance 67-2026. Public Service and Transportation Committee, we have Resolution 6X-2026, ordinances 3373, 3505-2025, ordinance 46, and ordinance 71, ordinance 88-2026. Neighborhoods, Recreation, and Parks Committee, ordinance 3337, 3338, 3391-2025, ordinance 20, and ordinance 2220, ordinance 22, I read that wrong again. Ordinance 222-2026. In Workforce, Education, and Labor Committee, we have ordinance 3453-2025. Health, Human Services, and Equity Committee, ordinance 3231-2025. Ordinance 2, ordinance 85, 99, 114, and 147-2026. Housing, Homelessness, and Building Committee, ordinance 8, 9, 10, 11, 25, 183, and 188-2026. Public Utilities and Sustainability Committee, Resolution 12X, 13X, 14X, 15X, 16X, 17X-2026. Ordinance 3405-2025, ordinance 16, 17, 18, and 21-2026. Rules and Policy Committee appointments, we have appointment 3, 5, 6, 7, 14, and 15-2026.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. There are no speakers on the consent portion of the agenda either. So may I have a motion of approval of these items as designated as consent?
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorns, Green, Remy, Ross, Wyche, President Harden.
The consent agenda items are passed. We'll now proceed with the second reading of 30-day postponed and tabled legislation and emergency legislation. The first committee to come before council is the Finance and Governance Committee. That committee is chaired by Councilmember Bangston. Councilmember, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President. Tonight in the Finance and Governance Committee, we have ordinance 2939-2025 to make appropriations and transfers for the 12 months ending December 31, 2026 for other funds for various divisions, to authorize the city auditor to make transfers as may be necessary and to declare an emergency. Now, as I mentioned during our last council meeting on January 12th, ordinance 2939-2025 and its companion ordinance 2940-2025 represents the city's other funds and select other funds appropriations. This particular ordinance establishes the budget appropriations for divisions and departments of the City of Columbus for fiscal year 2026 for funds other than the general fund, such as the Mobility Enterprise Fund, Development Services Fund, and other special revenue funds. The following ordinance 2940-2025 establishes the budget appropriations for divisions and departments of the City of Columbus for fiscal year 2026 for selected other funds than the general fund for the operating funds, such as the Debt Services Fund, tax incentive funds, and hotel motel tax funds, just to name a few. For the most part, council historically has not touched or cannot touch the aforementioned funds due to statute. These are typically either pass-through dollars or dollars that are collected from some other revenue source other than the income tax. That said, instead of waiting to pass these two ordinances alongside the general fund budget ordinances, once it is ready for final consideration, this year, in the interest of efficiency, these ordinances will be considered tonight for approval. Approval of these ordinances does not represent consideration of the full budget. The final budget ordinance, which covers the city's general fund and is not on the agenda tonight, is still being deliberated on and will be amended prior to the final consideration. We anticipate that the remaining budget ordinance will come before this body in late February. So again, ordinance 39-2025, which we are considering, is the other funds budget. And I would pause now to see if there's any questions or comments from my colleagues. I'll switch between screens. Seeing none, I move for passage on ordinance 2939-2025.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorns, Green, Remy, Ross, Wyche, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. And next we have ordinance 2940-2025 to make appropriations for the 12 months ending December 31, 2026 for selected other funds for various divisions, to authorize the city auditor to make transfers as may be necessary and to declare an emergency. Again, as I mentioned, this is just a companion ordinance to 2939-2025 for the selected other funds. Seeing no comments or questions from my colleagues, I move for passage now for ordinance 2940-2025.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorns, Green, Remy, Ross, Wyche, President Harden.
Passed.
Next, we have ordinance 0028-2026 to appropriate and authorize the city auditor to transfer $10,988,166 within the debt retirement fund, to authorize the city auditor on behalf of the Department of Public Service to appropriate $1,400,000 in the mobility debt retirement city parking meters contribution subfund, to authorize the expenditure for the purpose of providing secondary funding in the event that the Franklin County Convention Facility Authority cannot meet its debt obligation, and to declare an emergency. This ordinance is a routine annual accounting measure that establishes a fiscal backstop for the Franklin County Convention Facility Authority in the event they are unable to meet their debt obligations. We share this obligation with the county. And that, again, that is a fund that sits there in the event that they are not able to meet their debt obligation. That fund has not have been touched since the establishment of the Facilities Authority, as they have other revenue sources to pay for their bonding and pay for that debt. But this is a backstop since it is an organization that is a creation of both the county and the city. Are there any questions or comments from my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorns, Green, Remy, Ross, Wyche, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you, Council President. May I jump back to page 13 to read an ordinance that was removed from consent agenda?
Please.
Thank you. That ordinance is 0234-2026 to authorize the Finance and Management Director to enter into contract with the Greater Columbus Convention and Visitors Bureau, doing business as Experience Columbus, for destination marketing services to promote and publicize the city of Columbus as a desirable location for conventions, trade shows, and similar events, to authorize the expenditure of $436,000 from the Hotel Motel Excise Tax Fund, to authorize the expenditure of funds for reasonable food and non-alcoholic beverage expenses, and to declare an emergency. The Hotel Motel tax proceeds are collected by the city of Columbus for the purpose of promoting the city as a destination site for tourism and convention activities, and for fostering and sustaining a broad array of programming, including concerts, festivals, art exhibits, and vocational opportunities. At the top of each calendar year, we ordain the distribution of some of these proceeds to Experience Columbus so that they can continue to invest in the promotion of the city as a tourism destination, as well as some community-based programming. Experience Columbus is our city's promoter, marketer, and seller of Columbus as a destination, both regionally and nationally. Again, just want to speak to this ordinance that as we pass those select other funds, this is an example of one of those organizations that receive those select other funds as a pass-through of that hotel motel tax. Again, Experience Columbus continues to outperform and punch above its weight in our competitive set, and proud to say that last year hit all of their metrics and actually exceeded them for marketing the city and bringing more investment into our community. So really proud of the work that they continue to do to promote Columbus, not just around the country, but also around the globe. Are there any questions or comments from my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Wyche, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you, Council President. I move to the Economic Development and Small Minority Business Committee.
Please.
Thank you. First, we have Ordinance 3305-2025 to authorize the Director of the Department of Development to enter into an enterprise zone agreement with C5 Columbus SW Building 1 LLC for a tax abatement of 75% for a period of 10 consecutive years in consideration of the enterprise investing approximately $31,260,600 in real property improvements and the creation of 48 net new full-time permanent positions with an estimated annual payroll of approximately $2,112,000. This ordinance, along with the following companion ordinance, are a pair of enterprise zone agreements with Core 5 Industrial Partners. Core 5 Industrial Partners is a full-service real estate property company with expertise in development and acquisition of Class A inventory and build-to-suit industrial facilities. They have established two single-purpose entities, C5 Columbus SW Building 1 LLC and C5 Columbus SW Building number 2 LLC, that will cover the construction of two Class A proactive industrial facilities. This ordinance contains the proposal for Building 1, and the next ordinance contains the proposal for Building 2. For Building 1, the entity is proposing to invest a total project cost of approximately $31,260,600 in real property improvements to construct a new Class A proactive development industrial facility consisting of approximately 469,200 square feet of a vacant greenfield site located at 5192 Alkire Road here in Columbus. For Building 2, the entity is proposing to invest a total project cost of approximately $15,724,800 in real property improvements for the development of a vacant greenfield site and the construction of a new Class A proactive industrial facility consisting of approximately 249,600 square feet located at the same address. For Building 1, they anticipate the creation of 48 new full-time permanent positions with an estimated annual payroll of $2,112,000. For Building 2, they anticipate 25 new full-time permanent positions with an estimated annual payroll of approximately $1.1 million. Please note that, again, these are proactive industrial buildings, so these salaries and job numbers are just estimates until an operator is found for these spaces. The new entity that will be leased or will lease the space will be subject to the city's requirement for counts of the job as well as the $20 per hour wage threshold. Typically for proactive industrial projects, we've seen the actual job and salary numbers far exceed the estimate that are given at the proactive phase. In sum, with these both buildings, the Southwestern City School District is estimated to receive an additional $1,786,670 over the term of the abatement. Again, the way that abatements work, they will continue to receive the amount of property tax that they are receiving today that does not go away. But over the course of that abatement period, that 25% that is still on the table, they will receive an additional estimated $1.7 million. And they will receive approximately $8,933,343 over a 20-year period as a result of this project. Again, making that investment here on the front end and seeing those long-term gains in the future. I'll pause there to see if there's any questions or comments from my colleagues. Seeing none, I move for passage on ordinance 3305-2025.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy, Wyche, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. And last but certainly not least is ordinance 3306-2025. Again, this is that companion piece to the project that we just discussed. So 3306-2025 is to authorize the Director of the Department of Development enter into an enterprise zone agreement with C5 Columbus Southwest Building 2 LLC for a tax abatement of 75% for a period of 10 consecutive years in consideration of the enterprise investing approximately $15,724,800 in real property improvements and the creation of 25 net new full-time permanent positions with an estimated annual payroll of approximately $1,100,000. And again, as I mentioned, the details above. Are there any questions or comments from my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, White, President Harden.
Pass.
Thank you, Council President. That's all I have in my committees this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Next committee to come before council is the Public Service and Transportation Committee, chaired by Councilmember Barosa de Padilla. Councilmember, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President. I have 3 items on second read for Public Service and Transportation this evening. The first is Ordinance 3133, 2025, to authorize and direct the city auditor to appropriate funds within the Federal Transportation Grant Fund in connection with the Quick Build Toolkit, to authorize the Director of Finance and Management to associate all general budget reservations resulting from this ordinance with the appropriate universal term contract purchase agreements for the purchase of water barriers, cones, and traffic barrels by the Department of Public Service, Division of Mobility and Parking Services, to authorize the expenditure of $357,038 from the Federal Transportation Grant Fund, and to authorize the Director of Public Service to establish a purchase order for various materials to be used for the Quick Build Toolkit from the existing universal term contracts with Bain Enterprises and All In Safety Corp for the purchase of water barrels, cones, and traffic barrels. I'm really excited about this ordinance. So when I came into office, we had lots of conversation with the Department of Public Service about ways that we could really begin to strategize on getting quicker fixes to some of those problematic traffic intersections, and really looking at our high injury network and how do we begin to tackle some of the issues that we saw there. And so tactical urbanism, which I'm sure many of you heard me talk about many times, or quick build, refers to low cost interventions that improve street safety using temporary materials while allowing the city to respond faster to community needs. We're excited to receive this grant from ODOT for the purchase of the materials for the Quick Build Toolkit. The toolkit is designed to accelerate the planning and implementation of pedestrian and bicycle safety improvements by utilizing these temporary low-cost materials. Transportation projects often take years to design and complete. Projects that will utilize the toolkit will improve safety for pedestrians and cyclists in the short term, while the longer-term infrastructure improvements are evaluated, planned, and designed for permanent construction. So we've done a number of these over by Ohio Avenue, over on the south side. Temporarily, before we actually striped the bike lanes on East Broad Street, you saw those water barriers that were on East Broad Street. Director, I don't know if there's anything that you would like to add about our strategy around the Quick Build Toolkit.
No, you covered everything very well.
So I'm very excited that this will give us the opportunity both to test some things, both to put strategies out there faster. I also, we've had conversations about even expanding the toolkit further for the Department of Public Service. So do my colleagues have any additional questions or comments? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, White, President Harden.
Pass.
Thank you. Next, we have Ordinance 0036, 2026 to transfer cash and appropriation between the Lucent Incentive District TIF Fund and the Lucent Incentive District TIF Capital Fund, as well as between the East Broad Dominion TIF Fund and the East Broad Dominion TIF Capital Fund to appropriate funds within the Lucent Incentive District TIF Capital Fund and the East Broad Dominion TIF Capital Fund to authorize the Director of Public Service to enter into contract with Shelley and Sands Incorporated for the roadway Blossom Field Boulevard Broad to Westbourne project to authorize the expenditure of $3,312,787.59 from the Lucent Incentive District TIF Capital Fund and the East Broad Dominion TIF Capital Fund for the project and to declare an emergency. I would think that someone was hazing me if I didn't know better with the wording on this particular ordinance. This location for this project is on the Vision Zero high injury network due to the number of serious or fatal crashes involving vulnerable road users like people walking, biking, or on motorcycles or mobility devices. This project aims to help divert traffic volume and create safer conditions on the westbound portion of East Broad Street and the southbound portion of Taylor Station traffic. Blossomfield Boulevard will be upgraded to a public street with new street lights, curb and pavement improvements. The placement of a roundabout at the intersection of Blossomfield Boulevard, Granite Point Drive, and Westbourne Avenue will help to slow driver speeds and decrease crash severity. Additionally, a shared use path will also be constructed along the east side of Blossomfield and a sidewalk, we all love sidewalks, along the west side to fill in the gaps. So very excited about the safety project coming to this area of the city and everything that it will bring to ensure the safety of our residents. Do my colleagues have any questions or comments? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Alcala Dorns, Green, Remy, Ross, Wyche, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. And lastly, we have ordinance 0097-2026 to appropriate $8,250,000 from the unappropriated balance of the Municipal Motor Vehicle License Tax Fund for anticipated 2026 expenditures for the Department of Public Service, Divisions of Infrastructure Management and Traffic Management, and to declare an emergency. So this permissive tax has been levied by the City of Columbus since 1987. This money is used for materials, supplies, and equipment expenses consistent with the 2026 budget. So this is another one of the user-funded funds. So you pay a motor vehicle license tax. When you go in, it's a little tax that you pay. It goes into a larger fund that then gets reinvested back into our city streets. So do my colleagues have any questions or comments? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Alcala Dorns, Green, Remy, Ross, Wyche, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. And that's all for me this evening, Council President.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The next committee to come before council is the Public Safety and Criminal Justice Committee. That committee is chaired by Councilman Remy. Councilman, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Council President. Tonight I have two pieces of legislation, the first being 3467-2025 to authorize and direct the city attorney to settle the lawsuit captioned Ryan Pitts versus Emily Geyer et al. United States District Court case number 225 CV 875 to authorize the expenditure of the sum of $30,000 and no cents in settlement of the lawsuit, to authorize the transfer of $30,000 within the general fund, and to declare an emergency. Tonight we have Criminal Division Chief Melanie Tobias Hunter here. I'd like to turn the floor over to you, Chief, and have you walk us through this settlement and why your office believes this is the best solution.
Sorry, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair Remy, Council President Harden, members of council. This lawsuit, the plaintiff sued 3 officers with the Columbus Division of Police alleging civil rights violations that stemmed from a traffic stop and criminal citation out of that traffic stop. The traffic ticket and criminal citations were dismissed in court, and the plaintiff filed a complaint with the Department of Inspector General, which conducted an investigation into the traffic stop. The Department of Inspector General determined that the officers, they did commit policy violations, violating division policy. And after reviewing the plaintiff's lawsuit, the city attorney's office believes that if this would go forward to trial, there's a high likelihood that some of the defendant officers would be found liable on some of the claims raised in this case. So in order to, this is a civil rights violation, attorney's fees would be granted to the plaintiff were he to win on any of his counts. Attorney's fees were already clocking in at almost $15,000 at this point. To mitigate those losses, the city attorney's office recommended the settlement in this case.
Thank you very much. Now I'd like to turn it over to Director Pashotti and just hear what has been done to help ensure things like this don't happen again within the division. Director Pashotti. Okay.
Councilmember Ramey, I can speak to that.
Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't see that you were here. Thank you very much. Deputy Director Tricia Wenzel.
The officers were disciplined in this case, and they were counseled so that they'll handle things differently in the future now that they have more knowledge and experience about what happened.
All right. Thank you very much. Can I see if any of my colleagues have any questions about this particular case this evening? All right. Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Wyche, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you very much. Next, I have 0020-2026 to authorize the appropriation of $4,921,832.27 from the 2026 unappropriated balance of the Franklin County Municipal Court Specials Funds to the Franklin County Municipal Court for all anticipated expenses and to declare an emergency. This legislation reflects an annual requirement to appropriate the court's special funds so that they can be used for anticipated expenses. The ordinance authorizes appropriation into funds including but not limited to the Security Fund, the Dispute Resolution Fund, and the Specialized Dockets Fund, among others. Emergency declaration is requested so that the departments that operate under these funds continue their services uninterrupted. Are there any questions or comments from my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Wyche, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you very much. That's all I have in public safety and criminal justice this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Next committee to come before council is the Housing, Homelessness, and Building Committee. That committee is chaired by Councilmember Ross. Councilmember, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President. Just one ordinance for a second read on the agenda. It is ordinance number 0056-2026 to amend the 2025 capital improvement budget to authorize the transfer of funds within the Affordable Housing Taxable Bond Fund, to authorize the Director of Development to enter into a service contract with Man Roofing and Construction LLC for the Division of Housing's roof replacement program in an amount up to $350,000 using Affordable Housing Taxable Bond funds, to waive the provisions of Columbus City Codes Section 111.14 and 329.09 for the roof replacement program, to authorize the transfer and expenditure of $350,000, to authorize the Director of the Department of Development to enter into grant agreements, including modifications if necessary, with homeowner participants in the roof replacement program if the total grant amount is greater than $5,000, all without having to return to City Council for each project under the roof replacement program, to authorize reimbursement of expenditures incurred prior to the creation of a purchase order, to waive the competitive bidding provisions of Columbus City Code, and to declare an emergency. With that, I'm going to ask Director Stevens just to give a little background on the roof replacement program and tell us why we're waiving competitive bidding.
Thank you, Council President Harden, Chair Ross, members of the council. This is part of our housing strategy where we're working to preserve as much affordable housing as possible by supporting those projects where naturally occurring affordability or home ownership already exists. By approving this grant, we will expedite our ability to get the dollars out to make those roof repairs in a timely fashion. And that is the reason also why we are waiving competitive bidding. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Have any questions from my colleagues?
Councilmember, I have a quick question. Director Stevens, can you talk for just a second around how easy it is for folks to access those programs? Because I know that with some of the other programs that we have, and maybe it's not, I know with some of the other programs that we have, sometimes it's such an arduous process that it makes it difficult. So can you just talk a little bit about how folks can access a roof replacement program and who we fund and how that works?
Yeah, thank you, Council Member. We have our roof repair program, not only through our emergency homeowner repair, but also just through our homeowner services that's run through our Division of Housing. We run through the Housing Division. It's kind of a one-stop entry into there, and we determine based on their eligibility of income level. Obviously, residency is important, and then we try to we send our techs out there to understand the problem, get a quote from our vendor, and work to get that roof repaired in an expeditious manner.
Well, I'm especially thinking just now, especially after this kind of a storm and sustained, elements on those roofs, especially as they're older. I suspect we're going to see probably a little bit of an uptick of folks that are going to either they might have something detrimental that happens, or they're going to need those repairs. And so I just wanted to be sure that we touched on this is another resource for our residents, or as people are watching, that they can reach out to the city, that this is another investment that we're making in our community, and just ensuring that, as with anything, that we're, as much as we can, keep it low barrier for folks, because the more difficult it becomes, the less people want to do it, especially when we start to ask them a lot of questions or they have to collect a lot of information. It just doesn't feel comfortable for a lot of folks. And sometimes that's a cultural thing. Sometimes there's other factors that are involved. So thank you for that information.
Thank you, Councilmember Barroso de Padilla. Any other questions from my colleagues? And just to reiterate, I am very familiar with the roofing program and understand the very high demand that we have in our community for fixes to roofs. And so part of this legislation is to make sure that the department can be as efficient as possible, as quick as possible in processing those applications for roof replacement. So appreciate you, Director. And I am going to move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barroso de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorns, Green, Remy, Ross, Wyche, President Harden.
Passed. Is that all on your committee, Madam Chair?
Yes, but I think you might have been on mute, Council President, for the vote.
Oh, my bad.
We didn't hear it.
Clerk, please call
We
the
did
roll.
not, I'm sorry.
Bangston, Barroso de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorns, Green, Remy, Ross, Wyche, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you, Council President. That's it from my committee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The next committee to come before council is the Public Utilities and Sustainability Committee. That committee is chaired by Councilmember Wyche. Councilmember, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President. I have one ordinance in Public Utilities and Sustainability Committee this evening, and that is 31-2026 to authorize the Director of the Department of Finance and Management to associate all general budget reservations resulting from this ordinance with the appropriate universal term contract purchase agreements for the purchase of water treatment chemicals for the Department of Public Utilities, to authorize the expenditure of $30,400,000 from the Water Operating Fund, and to declare an emergency. This ordinance provides the funding necessary for the purchase of water treatment chemicals for the Division of Water. Emergency designation is requested in order to avoid any delay in purchasing of necessary chemicals and to allow the Division of Water to continue to provide safe and reliable drinking water to Columbus residents and its surrounding communities. Let me stop there, see if any questions or comments from my colleagues. Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barroso de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorns, Green, Remy, Ross, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. That is all I have for my committee this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Next committee to come before council is the Rules and Policy Committee. I chair that committee. I have one ordinance, and I know President Pro Tem has one as well. We have ordinance 0064-2026 is to amend section 111.01 of the Columbus City Codes pertaining to council meetings and hearings to allow council flexibility to determine summer recess. This code change will give City Council the flexibility to move our recess period so we can pilot a change to our annual calendar by shifting recess from August to July for the 2026 legislative year. This idea has bounced around for years, but over the past year, City Council surveyed council staff and department staff to get thoughtful feedback on how this shift could affect city operations. Moving recess to July provides greater flexibility for summer vacations and childcare needs, particularly for families with young children who often return to school in early to mid-August. It also helps reduce recurring legislative and administrative challenges that arise when city staff and partners are inevitably out at different points throughout July. Finally, aligning recess immediately after the close of the second fiscal quarter creates a cleaner fiscal and accounting transition. If adopted, then the city clerk will notice a calendar for the year where we meet through June, recess in July, and return to regular meeting in mid to late August. We view this as a pilot in 2026. Throughout the year, we will evaluate this and use that feedback to determine where we should take recess next year. I appreciate the input we've received and remain committed to maintaining a council calendar that is transparent, predictable, and responsible to the needs of our workforce and our community. If there are no questions or comments, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorns Green, Remy Ross, Wyche, President Harden.
Pass. Next, I'll give the committee over to Pres Pro Tem.
Thank you, Council President. In rules and reference, I have ordinance number 0134-2026 to adopt the Columbus Growth Strategy as an amendment to the Columbus citywide planning policies that will continue to guide the next generation of growth and development in Columbus. If folks have been paying attention to a lot of our discussions around our modernizer of zoning code, you've heard me say this before. The growth of Columbus is one of our biggest opportunities, but it's also one of our biggest challenges. That's why it's so important for our city to have a plan for this growth, because we don't, this will only result in more congestion and sprawl, which leave us in a much more difficult position to be able to serve our residents and create more housing, more job opportunities for folks across Columbus. That's why planning for this growth is so incredibly important. For too long, our city's been forced to navigate these modern day challenges of the 14th largest city in the country that is continuing to grow with a zoning code that was written in the 1950s. We cannot build a modern, equitable city on a 70-year-old land use foundation. Tonight, we take the next step in modernizing our land use policies to be ready to be focused on the quality of life for residents today, but also plan for the future growth of our city. We're moving away from the restrictive policies of the past and towards a framework that reflects the needs, values, and aspirations of Columbus that we know we are and should become. This isn't our first step in this process, and it won't be our last. Our last big step in this process occurred on July 29th of 2024, when this council took historic action by rezoning 140 miles of our primary corridors in the first phase of Zone In. That move alone unlock the potential for 88,000 new housing units to be built on those parcels over the next decade. This legislation here tonight will formally adopt the Columbus Growth Strategy, a policy that will guide the next phase of that zoning modernization efforts. It establishes our first citywide land use policy and map. And while this does not change our zoning code overnight, it does provide for a guide for our future decisions, ensuring that our capital planning, budgeting, and future zoning updates are transparent and predictable to our residents. The goals of the strategy are clear and intentional. The first, affordability and housing. We're identifying exactly where we can create more housing near jobs and transit to lower the cost of living for our residents. Sustainability. We're prioritizing growth that supports environmental and economic sustainability through better connected transit and job centers. Equity and inclusion. This is perhaps the most critical point. We're using this framework to encourage the thoughtful investment in our neighborhoods that have historically suffered from racial and economic segregation caused by outdated land use policies. We are intentionally correcting that course in our city's history. And finally, community-led design. This strategy was not drafted behind closed doors. It is the result of thousands of interactions, over 3,000 survey responses, dozens of workshops, 75 presentations to our area commissions and civic groups. This level of outreach ensures that we can modernize our main streets while also celebrating uniqueness and character and sets a place that makes every neighborhood in Columbus special. Together, we're building a foundation for growth that is equitable, intentional, and uniquely Columbus. This strategy ensures our code is no longer a barrier to progress, but a bridge to build a more affordable and connected Columbus. I'm proud to introduce this legislation here tonight and continue to work in securing Columbus' future for generations to come as we enter into the next phase of Zone In, which again is our effort to modernize our land use and zoning policies, to put guardrails around growth, but also to encourage, again, new housing opportunities across Columbus. I know we have a number of public speakers signed up in support of this ordinance, and we've received many more letters of support and written testimonies from organizations and individuals across the city. Before we get to those here tonight, I do want to ask, and I appreciate my council colleagues' indulgence here as we take some extra time to really talk about where we're at in this process. When we get into sort of land use discussions, it can very easily to get down in the weeds, and I want to just make sure that we take a little bit more time than we would otherwise with just one piece of legislation here to really get into the nitty-gritty and talk about what this legislation is and what it isn't and what it's more importantly going to lead us to next. So with that, I'd like to turn the floor over to Mr. Louis Taba for a presentation on this piece of legislation before I ask for a vote here tonight and allow our public speakers to weigh in. Mr. Taba, the floor is yours.
I apologize for that. I wasn't unmuted. So let me share my screen here with you today. I just wanted to say I'm excited to be here to present legislation that will allow the city to continue the work of Zone In. As we have noted before, the city needs citywide policy recommendations to provide the foundation for Zone In. And that is what this legislation does. So based off of our Zone In project timeline, with support of this legislation, we can stay on schedule to comprehensively update our zoning districts by 2027. The Columbus Growth Strategy will not only provide a policy basis for Zone In, but this is a generational opportunity to modernize the way we do planning in the city of Columbus. It will provide a single citywide strategy that sets clear priorities for where and how Columbus grows. Now, a couple key points on the growth strategy are that it creates a more flexible approach focused on design. It encourages mixed-use areas. It supports more housing options in more areas of the city. It provides guidance for when older employment areas may evolve into modern job centers. And it will be subject to regular review. As part of our background work on this project, we did research to see how other peer cities handle land use maps. Our research shows that all of them have citywide land use plans. One thing we want to stress is that the Columbus Growth Strategy is an amendment to the citywide planning policies, also known as C2P2. Most of the plan remains unchanged. The primary difference is the map, which was based off of months of public engagement. Our process began with Mayor Ginther's June press conference and Council's resolution of support. For the past 7 months, we have conducted extensive community engagement. We have had thousands of conversations with residents, received thousands of comments, and we used an array of engagement methods and held engagement events in a variety of different locations across the city. This robust public engagement led to over 19,000 changes to the proposal. And overall, public input has been largely supportive, with between 65 and 75% support. So I'd like to take a minute to show how that input affected our maps and how we changed our proposal. Right here we have the initial land use map, which was part of our July workshops and was open for community input all the way through October. We presented this map, and based off of community input that lasted from July to October, 8,408 parcels were changed, totaling 4,131 acres. So quite a bit of changes to the map. That is, some parcels were added, some were removed, some were changed from one land use type to another, and some just changed in intensity. We took all those changes and we then created our public review draft. This map was released on October 4th for additional community input. So in fall 2025, we began that additional second round of community input. And from October until the present, we've changed based off of community input 11,455 parcels, totaling 2,915 acres. So some of these parcels were added, some were removed. Once again, some were changed in their classification and in their intensity. And after that second round of change, that's how we have the Columbus Growth Strategy Land Use Plan that is part of this legislation. So there have been a few amendments to the proposal since the first reading. We have responded to North Linden's comments, and we reinstated letter H into guiding principle number 3. And we have also changed the land use recommendations along Clara Street from mixed use 2 to mixed use 3 per their request. Additionally, we added Tierra Ross to the council member list, and we included the Downtown Commission Development Commission letters of recommendation of support for the legislation. We have also received letters of support from various community members, nonprofits, and development groups. And we received 2 formal recommendations of support from both the Downtown Commission and the Development Commission. So with council adoption of the Columbus Growth Strategy, we can continue the work of Zone In. Community engagement will continue to be the focus of our effort as we begin having conversations with residents about which zoning districts best achieve the goals of our newly established land use policy. And with that, I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Teva. I want to pause and see if any of my council colleagues have any questions. I can't currently see the full screen, so if you've got a question, please just jump on in. See none, I will go ahead and move us to our public testimony portion. As I mentioned, we have 4 public speakers signed to speak on this ordinance here this evening. I ask that those speakers limit their remarks to 3 minutes. We'll try to be Midwestern polite with that, so we'll try not to cut people off mid-sentence, but we do ask that you try to be mindful of that 3-minute limit. Also, if any of our speakers represent a specific organization here, if you wouldn't mind letting us know. But the first speaker to come before council is Ms. Carly Booz.
Good evening, and thank you, President Pro Tem Dorns, President Hardin, and members of council. I am Carly Booz, and I'm proud to speak tonight on behalf of the Affordable Housing Alliance of Central Ohio and our 40 members this evening in support of the Columbus Growth Strategy. I did have the privilege of commenting on this topic before in November when it was presented for feedback. At that time, I'd expressed our thanks for the document's reflection of Columbus's shared values of being publicly developed, inclusive, responsive, data-driven, modern, and unified. Those traits remain in this final draft, and I think are further complemented by increased clarity and incorporation of valuable community feedback. With this policy foundation that the Columbus Growth Strategy lies, we are optimistic that zoning policies, investment decisions, and resident protections will all be aligned to welcome economic growth without sacrificing our quality of life. In fact, we believe that this concrete strategy linking housing access to our future prosperity not only protects the affordability that we have today, but expands safe and sustainable housing to more of our residents, both new and old. The Columbus Growth Strategy allows us to look ahead to the kind of impactful programs that are not currently supported in our community, but which we desperately need. For instance, this policy allows us to more thoroughly investigate and advance strip mall revitalization, converting dated commercial corridors into vibrant, mixed-use, mixed-income spaces that have plentiful jobs, amenities, and homes. Seizing this opportunity in particular is important as Link Us invites new investment and new interest in our transportation corridors. As the Link Us ETOD action plan shows, these new prospects must be balanced by anti-displacement zoning and housing tools. The Columbus Growth Strategy also continues an important conversation around the role of grassroots stewardship in our growth, often referred to as the YIGB movement. With the kind of zoning that this policy would enable, we have an opportunity to empower educators, nonprofit leaders, and faith groups to incorporate affordable housing in their capital planning. Finally, as we look to the needs of the broader city, we see in this document support for so-called missing middle policies, which allow duplexes and other kinds of small-scale residential housing that open pathways for traditional home ownership and long-term sustainability. I want to thank you again for considering this policy. I want to thank Mayor Ginther and his team for leading this effort. And I want to thank you all for allowing us to have a moment to share our views. I'm happy to answer any questions that may be helpful.
Thank you, Carly. Appreciate you being here and your continued advocacy on this topic to uplift all aspects of how do we build a more equitable Columbus through increased ability to bring housing of all types across neighborhoods in Columbus. Do any of my colleagues have any questions for Ms. Booth? Seeing none, I will move on to our next public speaker, which is Ms. Kathy Green. Ms. Green, welcome back to Council.
Council President Pro Tem Dorans, Council President Hardin, members of council and city staff, thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. My name is Kathy Green. I live on the south side of Columbus and serve as Vice Chair and Zoning Chair of the Columbus Southside Area Commission, holding the business at large seat. Tonight, however, I'm speaking simply as a resident of our city. At the November public hearing, I shared an overview of the two Southside plans, the adoption of the Columbus citywide planning policies, and the engagement we have had with Southside stakeholders. I also highlighted the changes introduced through Zone in Phase 1 along our primary corridors. The proposed Columbus growth strategy introduces new land use maps that would affect the Southside in two major ways. First, the strategy proposes additional density through the mixed-use 1 category along our secondary corridors at 24 dwelling units per acre. The existing Southside plans do not differentiate uses along these corridors and generally default to the adjacent residential neighborhoods. Current densities range from 4 to 6 units per acre in the southeast, 6 to 10 units per acre in the northeast, and 10 to 16 units per acre elsewhere on the south side. And some individual commercial businesses already exist along these routes. Increasing density on secondary corridors is a smart and necessary step. These streets are often transit routes, have walkable sidewalks, are targeted for bike and shared use path improvements, and as we've all been reminded recently, are typically priority 1 snow removal routes. Allowing mixed use along these corridors supports walkability, expands transit options, adds needed housing, and creates opportunities for new job centers. Secondly, the updated strategy proposes changing a number of parcels currently zoned for manufacturing to mixed use 2. Mixed use 2 allows taller buildings and higher densities, supporting the evolution of older employment areas into places that can accommodate housing, commercial activity, and community serving uses. Many of these manufacturing parcels currently host uses that are incompatible with nearby residences, and the jobs they provide no longer match the employment needs of local residents. We have been in conversation with the Department of Planning about repurposing these parcels since at least January 2021. I am grateful that the city is now able to advance these changes through the Columbus growth strategy. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak. I strongly support adoption of this strategy as an important step toward improving land use on the south side and across Columbus. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Appreciate you being here with us virtually tonight. And a reminder that a walkable neighborhood is not only healthy in the summertime, but also in the wintertime when we're talking about clearing that snow, being able to walk to a grocery store or being able to walk to help folks around your neighborhood. So appreciate being here again tonight. Our next public speaker on this piece of legislation is a great advocate for the Northland community, Ms. Pat Hamill.
Council President Hardin, President Pro Tem Dorans, and council members, thank you for this opportunity to speak in support of the Columbus Growth Strategy. My name is Pat Hamill. I'm the Vice President of the Northland Community Council, Chair of NCC's Zone In Committee, and a 19-year resident of the Salem neighborhood in Northland. Tonight, I speak as a 50-year resident of the city of Columbus. The Columbus Growth Strategy will provide citywide land use policy to guide responsible and sustainable development to meet not just our current needs, but also the job growth, housing, and infrastructure needs that will develop in the future. Comprehensive land use policy cannot dictate what specific projects will be built where. It can provide the framework for our city's residents' vision of what types of development should be possible throughout diverse areas of the city. The Columbus Growth Strategy reflects a way to accomplish this with a foundational focus on the common good. My Northland Community Council colleague, Dave Paul, chair of the NCC's Development Committee, has remarked that the Columbus Growth Strategy and Zone In provide the opportunity for evolutionary rather than revolutionary change to address the development needs of our city now and into the future. I too believe that is the case and the appropriate strategy for sustainable development. I strongly encourage you to enact the Columbus Growth Strategy, and I look forward to constructive give and take as it is implemented into the future. Thank you for your time and consideration. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Pat, thank you so much. I really appreciate that point when we talk about modernizing these policies. Is folks were adding some of the events from the first phase of Zone In. One of the common things I mentioned was, this is not about just letting people build whatever they want, wherever they want, whenever they want. This is about having a reasonable dialogue as a community about how are we going to grow and what are the policies we're going to have in place to help guide that growth in the future. And I think it's so important to have folks recognize that give and take back and forth, not only in this part of the process, but what ultimately comes next, which is that next phase of Zone In, really to apply zoning districts to this area. That really is a big community conversation to come, where we really do focus on all that front end work rather than the day-to-day sort of ground and pound that many community groups have to do, given how outdated our policies are at this point. So thank you for being here and appreciate your comments. Our final speaker on this ordinance is Ms. Deborah Link. Ms. Link, the floor is yours.
City Council and staff. I am from Columbus Northwest area and represent about over 1,000 petitions in this area in our particular zoning area. I will get through this as quickly as possible. My name is Deborah Link. I live at 7616 Seddon Drive. I'm here to speak firmly against the proposed Columbus Growth Strategy in the Columbus Northwest area. I respectfully urge you to vote no and to submit any proposed changes to a fully informed citywide vote. For 70 years, Columbus zoning framework has protected citizens, apartment communities, homeowners, and local businesses. I understand that the mayor is pushing to change planning tools, but age alone does not invalidate a system. Removing long-standing protections without community-driven replacement places residents at real and imminent risk. The proposed bucket zoning approach and the zone in maps are fragmented and poorly planned. Large viable areas suitable for development are ignored, while stable community neighborhoods are swept into unwanted rezoning. In Northwest Columbus, near Billingsley and Farmers Road, on both sides of I-270, there are more than 30 acres appropriate for mixed-use development that would not disrupt existing communities. Yet these opportunities are being overlooked. Discarding 70 years of zoning protections is like disregarding a 238-year-old U.S. Constitution. These protections exist to safeguard people's homes, apartment communities, and businesses. Developers already have numerous approved and pending projects. Yes, developments in areas like Westland, Eastland, and Morris Road continue to stall while approvals in higher rent areas move forward. Target approvals could grow the city without displacing residents, and displacement is happening. Columbus has the highest eviction rate in the nation. In 2025 alone, there was 22,781 eviction filings, more than New York City. Large-scale redevelopment can skyrocket land values overnight, forcing people from their homes, affordable apartments, jobs, and stability. Where are they supposed to go? Affordable housing is often cited as justification for these changes, yet there is no evidence that dismantling zoning protections delivers affordability. In fact, evidence shows the opposite. The primary beneficiaries are the developers, while residents lose their voice. We are not bucket areas, we are neighborhoods. Critical questions remain unanswered: traffic, infrastructure, schools, service capacity, and displacement. These costs fall on taxpayers while tax abatements continues. When Northwest Columbus Area Commission and the Columbus Development Commission both vote no, yet project can still advance, public trust is broken. Our community has gathered over 1,000 signatures from Columbus Northwest residents opposing these changes. We were told that 3,000 residents completed surveys and that meetings in zoning Columbus were poor, less than 0.003% of the population of a city of over 900,000 residents. This is not a mandate. People do not know. Please vote no and submit any zoning overhaul to a vote of the people. Residents deserve transparency, education, and real voice. I'm happy to help. Thank you so much for hearing me tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Link, for your testimony here tonight. Many of these issues are complicated, and reasonable minds can certainly disagree about those. And I would certainly encourage you and others within your community to stay engaged. The next phase of Zone In will be starting here soon, and that is primarily where those kind of decisions will be made about what are the guardrails around development policies that'll look like into the future. But I just disagree about the idea that we should continue to have a broken system in place when we need to build more housing across Columbus to help stabilize housing costs. This is not more complicated than supply and demand. We have an overwhelming demand for housing in Columbus, and we don't have enough supply, which makes everything more expensive. And this is beyond just housing. This phase of Zone In, which is going to be imparted by the growth strategy here, is really looking at retail and commercial centers of Columbus that have fallen on hard times, where we want to be more thoughtful around what does commercial and residential industrial development look like in Columbus before we have something like Eastland Mall fall into disrepair that drags down a community. This is about being proactive and not reactive. And I think that's fundamentally what this body is interested in, working in partnership with the administration and the community in moving forward. Doesn't mean we're going to agree on everything, but I think it's time for us to, again, look at how these policies need to reflect what the reality of the city is today and what the reality of the city is going to be decades into the future. So appreciate folks testifying here tonight. In addition, we've received additional written testimonies in favor of the legislation and many other calls from residents. Those all have been provided to the offices as well. Before I call for a vote on this, I want to thank members of the zoning team, certainly from the Department of Development and Building Zoning Services. Council staff that has worked really hard to get us to this point this evening. Want to thank Louis Taba, our project manager, who's helping to shepherd this portion of the legislation through the process. Director Stevens and Messer from Development and Building Zoning Services for helping to make sure that both their departments are collaborating on this very, very important work. Want to thank them as well. And also just the thousands of members of the public who took time to engage at this part of the initiative. It's going to help shape. You saw there were thousands and thousands of changes that have been made to this piece of legislation, this proposal, based upon that feedback. I understand folks are always eager for more, but I think the stats that Mr. Taba showed earlier about the amount of changes that have been made is clearly demonstrates that we are interested in finding ways to operationalize that feedback. Also want to thank our area commissioners and civic associations that have taken time to provide their feedback as well. That has been critical throughout this whole process and will be as we head into the future. Finally, I also want to thank Council President Hardin, who's the co-sponsor of this legislation and who's been my partner and this council's partner from day one as we've started down this path to modernize our land use policies and zoning code. Again, to focus on not only the quality of life for residents today, but again, to plan for that growth for us in the future. I've said this before about Zone In and many of the initiatives that we've worked on together here at Council. Our final legislation and policies are better when more people engage with us, and whether or not folks are in support or against this, I think the demonstration of those changes that have been made allow this product to be better, and something that I personally take very, very seriously. I want to encourage folks to stay involved in this. After tonight, we'll be transitioning from the Columbus growth phase strategy to the next full phase of Zone In, which again, where we will have zoning districts get applied to these areas. And that's really where the rubber meets the road as we think about what is modernizing our land use policies for Columbus in the future really looks like. So again, I want to pause and see if there's any Comments or questions from my colleagues? Seeing none, I would like to move to amend as submitted to the clerk.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Wyche, President Harden.
Amended.
Thank you. And finally, I move for passage as amended.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Wyche, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you, Council President. I'll have this time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you all to my colleagues. That's the final piece of legislation to come before this body. Again, Columbus, stay safe. We're going to move over to zoning, go directly into zoning. But before we do that, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Wyche, President Harden.
Meeting is adjourned. Chair, are we good to go right into zoning?
Let's roll.
Regular meeting number 4 will now come to order. Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Wyche, President Harden.
Can I get a motion to dispense with the reading of the journal?
So moved.
Clerk, please call.
Second.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Wyche, President Harden.
Thank you. Are there any additions or corrections to the journal? Hearing none, the journal is approved. We'll now go to the zoning committee. Councilmember Dorance chairs that committee, and all members serve on it. Councilmember, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President. Before we begin tonight's agenda, first a little bit of housekeeping. Will the clerk please read the numbers of legislation in the zoning committee that require waiver of second reading?
0041, 0042, and 142-2026.
Thank you, clerk. I now move to waive second reading on those items.
Second.
So moved.
Yeah, thanks.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Wyche, President Harden.
Waived.
Thank you. As always, I'll briefly explain our rules pertaining to speaking for council on rezonings and variances. When we'll hear staff presentation of ordinance have a disapproval from a recommending body, or if we have a public speaker signed to speak against an ordinance, we permit 3 speakers on each side of an ordinance, 3 proponents, 3 opponents. We ask those speakers limit their remarks to 3 minutes per the standard rules of the council. All speakers on council variance, including staff, area commissioners, applicants, and members of the public, will be sworn in before they give testimony. Representative of the area commissioner are always able to speak on an ordinance. You do not need to fill out a speaker slip, but we do ask you alert city staff of your intentions to speak at this hearing. This evening, we do not have any public speaker slips on any of our legislation. On the advice of the city attorney's office, I will now swear in city staff. Please stand and raise your right hand and be sworn in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, not that the truth, that you shall answer under pains of penalty of perjury? If so, please say I do.
I do.
Please let the record reflect that Tim Dietrich from the Department of Buildings and Services has been sworn in. First, we have ordinance number 0041-2026 to rezone 47 16th Avenue, being 2.49 plus acres located in the southeast corner of 16th Avenue and North Pearl Street from CPD Commercial Plan Development District to UCR Urban Core District. Site consists of 1 undeveloped parcel, and the applicant requesting rezoning the Urban Core District, a 2024 zoning code or zone-in district, allowing for a high-intensity mixed-use development. This subject site is eligible for an applicant-led opt-in rezoning to the zoning district because the property is contiguous to an existing urban core district and because the property's parcel boundaries have remained unchanged since the effective date of 2024 zoning code. Additionally, final building design will be subject to a certificate of approval by the University Impact District Review Board. Proposal is approved from city staff, University Area Commission, Development Commission, and University Impact Review Board. This is also, I think, the first rezoning we've had where it's been one of the opt-in from a adjacent zone-in district. So this is nice to see that these are making a change as applicants are looking to bring projects online. So unless there's any questions or comments, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Wyche, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. Next, we have ordinance 0042-2026 to rezone 4901 Central College Road, being 1.45 plus located on the south side of Central College Road, 275 plus feet of Sharon Drive from R Rural District to C2 Commercial District. Site consists of 1 parcel developed with an office building as a result of an annexation of the city in 2007. The requested rezoning allows office uses which will conform to the existing office commercial use and does not allow a more intensive or inappropriate commercial uses. Proposal approves from City Staff, Development Commission, the Rocky Fork Black Lake Accord Panel. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Wyche, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. We move into the council variances portion of the agenda. First, we have ordinance 0142-2026 regarding variance provisions, section 3332.037 R2 residential district and 3312.49 required parking in the Columbus City Codes for property located at 657 Mohawk Street to allow limited department neighborhood scale commercial use to reduce parking in the R2F residential district and repeal ordinance number 0084-02 passed February 4th, 2002. Site consists of one parcel developed with a mixed-use building as approved with the ordinance number 0084-02 passed back in 2002. Requested council variance will allow a new neighborhood scale commercial use in already approved uses. Ordinance includes a condition that commercial uses will continue to be limited to the ground floor of the building. A variance to reduce required parking from 3 spaces to 0 is also included. Proposal is approved from the city staff and the German Village Commission. I first move to accept the entire staff report into evidence as exhibit.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy, Ross, Wyche, President Harden.
Accept it.
Thank you. I next move to adopt the findings of staff, the findings of council.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy, Ross, Wyche, President Harden.
Adopt it.
Thank you. If I move for passage.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy, Ross, Wyche, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you, Council President. That's all we have in tonight's zoning agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Seeing no further business coming from the zoning committee, is there a motion to adjourn?
Second. So moved.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy, Ross, Wyche, President Harden.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Thanks. Good night. Be safe.
Night.